Welcome back, guys. Monday it is, and you know what happens on Monday. The Monday market report for the week ending June 15, 2025. We are going to dive in to some of the greatest and most relevant coins that have sold here in the last week. Of course, we take a look at usually the modern era. 1900 is the date that we start out at the floor, and then anything all the way up to the current date is normally what we cover. So we're going to be looking at greatcollections.com for all of the results as we move into summer. Obviously the question begs, is the market going to slow down? I don't know if that's going to be happening, especially when the online auction companies are going to be doing everything they can because the market is asking for some new pieces. So we're going to be looking at 21 items here today, some beauties too, and they're not all about registry sets. We have varieties, we have earlier obsolete type coins as well, all making the list that I think you guys will be drooling over. So stay tuned for this. We will get started here momentarily. Quick little shout out to our channel sponsor, Whatnot. I'd like to say that they have been the best thing to ever happen to my life as a coin YouTuber. I've always wanted to sell coins. Whatnot has been that platform that allows that for me. So I use this platform to help supplement eBay and maybe using the occasional online auction platform like Great Collections to either buy or sell my coins. Whatnot is the fastest growing live social media auction site today, and I'm glad to be a part of it. If you guys are looking to either join up so that way you could buy some coins or maybe become a seller, look no further. We have a couple links for you. The QR code is simply just a formality to sign up. If you've never signed up to the platform before, now's your chance. You could save yourself $15 off of your very first item that you purchase, and it's automatic. If you don't like using the QR code, of course, we got the links down below in the description box, and it'll also be pinned to the comments field of this video. And if you wanted to become one of the distinguished sellers on the platform, look no further. We also have a link in the description box for you to become that and get just essentially a fast track to what is probably going to be your selling career off, away from your 9 to 5. And that's a great feeling. So come join us. We got shows every week. And we're also, don't know if you heard, we're in a big summer promotional time period right now that goes all the way to July 31st. So check that out as well. All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Quite the list here. 1998 Lincoln Memorial Cent. And this is one that I did a shorts video about a day ago. One of the big criticisms about this coin is there were a few people who said, that's not a wide AM. I say, bullshit, it's not. It is a wide AM. There is a wide gap between the A and M. And, not to mention that it looks like every other wide AM for 1998. So why Josh about it? So this one, obviously, on the list, even though it's one of the more common dates to find the wide AM reverse, this particular one here is in existence because of its grade factor. This one right here is high atop the population reports in a mid-state 68 red. There's only a few of these known at this grade level, and it's such a gauntlet, not only for registry sets, but also to variety enthusiasts for Lincoln cents. So this one right here ended up selling for $5,911.88. And boy, what a great way to start out the Monday market report with this bad boy here. Also coming up next is one that we're all too familiar with. And 1995, Lincoln Memorial Cent Doubled Die Obverse. This is also the FS 101 variety. This right here is the highest grade known to man of this coin. But here's the caveat. There are a number of these graded in mid-state 69 red. You would think that there'd be enough out there to help fulfill demand, as far as supply is concerned. And, there is, but it's such a popular coin, and, Lincoln Cent Registries is so popular today that, this is going to be a necessity for many years to come. And I would like to say that it's time of finding more newer examples that will grade out at least this level is coming to a close. There's not too many, I guess you would say, virgin rolls of 1995 Lincoln Cents to search through for the hopes of finding this variety, even though it's quite common. So this one right here, kind of same verse as the first. I mean, it is within dollars away from matching what the 1998 wide AM reverse Lincoln Cent sold for $5,906.25. Another one right here, another big variety that we all long to look for. This is a hit list coin for a lot of us that are avid roll hunters. We go to the bank for a reason, right? It's to score some rolls. A lot of people obviously are looking for silver, but there are other things that are just as important. And with the news that the Lincoln Cent is going to be going away in 2026, coins like this are going to be even more meaningful to look for, because I'd like to assume that there's going to be some hoarding going on within the coin community and investors and junior woodchuck hoarders out there. They're going to want to hoard all of the copper cents, and then there's going to be other folks that are going to want to look at finding some varieties before it's too late. So this is one of them right here. One of the biggest ones, I would say, a top 10% variety within the Lincoln Cent series in its entirety. The 1992 D Close AM variety is also the FS 901 Cherry Picker's Guide variety. Now, I feel like PCGS was a little generous on the grade here. They gave it a mid-state 62 red-brown, in spite of the carbon spotting and all that stuff going on with the coin here. It's probably 2-3 points too generous. And they really hooked this one up quite a bit. So now, this one right here ended up selling for $1,469.99. This is about the most ultimate example of a coin that you would see coming out of change than you do a BU roll. Because obviously, a coin that's hitting 33 years old is not going to be looking all too good a shape, just through general circulation wear. Next one that we have here is just, call this a classic registry set, just bomb. 1985 D Lincoln Memorial Cent in a mid-state 69 red by PCGS. Kind of fits that mold quite well. This is one that just doesn't show up as often. 85D, I could say, is a semi-challenging year for this kind of grade level. I would say anything above mid-state 66 is just really hard to find in this particular date. So this one right here is an overachiever for sure. So this one, ladies and gents, sold for $2,026.12. We also have this one here, and keep in mind, this is probably one of the biggest modern, I would say, proof varieties. This is one I always look out for. I have never found this one ever, and we're talking a good solid 25 plus years of hunting around 1971 proof sets, which, by the way, they sell as a set for like $8 to $10. They are really cheap. So when you do come across the double to die obverse variety of this particular coin, you have came into money pretty well. This one is so popular, so sought after in the Lincoln Cent community, that the prices certainly show its value here. So this one also, the FS 101 for the date. The big highlights, I would say, doubling wise, is in Liberty. You can see it a little bit on In God We Trust, but also the date shows a lot of the strong doubling. But Liberty and the date are the two main focal points of this coin. So this one right here ended up selling for $2,475. I mean, that's a erstwhile payday for a coin that comes out of an $8 to $10 proof set. Make sure you're looking out for this one. It's almost like a hit list coin for proof sets. Because if you don't have this one on your hit list, then you probably have no business looking through proof sets to begin with. We also have this one here, probably quite possibly the biggest variety for the 1970s. And considering that 1972 double to die obverse coins exist, that just shows you how powerful the 1970s DDO FS101 is. If it wasn't for the 69S DDO, this would be the top dog, not only by rarity, but also the strength of the doubling on these devices. Such a great looking coin. This one, however, comes in at a Mid-State 64 red. It's also CAC certified, so it gave it its blessing. And this particular one sold for $2,306.25. Always a perennial favorite. Not easy to be found, but when you do find one, consider it a massive payday. And yeah, fantastic. Now this is quite a lovely looking coin. The toning is on there in this kind of pink, maybe magenta fuchsia fusion type of coloration on here. Really suits this one well. And, earlier copper with this kind of color is quite desirable. So we have this 55D that ended up graded as a Mid-State 67 plus red. The grade level is top end as it sits. The color adds in this whole extra element that really appeals to, maybe not only Lincoln set enthusiasts, not only registry set folks, but also toning people as well. So it's got many different, groups that will want this coin. So this particular one right here ended up selling for $3,987. Take the money and run. Don't look back. This was, in a way, a very, very beautiful piece. And I guess this is the final 1 cent denom coin, and it is a very important one at that. 1943/2 S-Mint. Steely, all right? This one has a distinction of being, quite possibly one of the most desirable varieties for the steel cent series, okay? And let's not forget that the 43D over D RPM, which, has always been expensive, exists as well. So this one right here grades out at Mid-State 68, which is just a super incredible grade state. That, you would think that it'd be impossible to find another, especially with this variety. With all the things considering, I wasn't all as surprised at the $10,518.75 that this one ended up bringing in over the weekend. So really great to see. Very beautiful coin. Very fine, acceptable example of this double to die. And now we're on to nickels, and here's another one again. If you're searching proof sets for all the wrong reasons, then obviously you won't know that the 1971 missing mint mark Jefferson nickel is a thing. And there were actually a few different dates where you could find this particular oopsie daisy moment. Yeah, the mint employees screwed up. They forgot to put the mint mark on the working dies of these proof coins, and because of that, a little known treasure, pops up on occasion in some of these proof sets. This one right here is such a great one to begin with. NGC, our first NGC graded coin of the list with a proof 68 cameo designation, is a real stunner. But I will say this is not the finest known grade of this variety. And because of that, this one ended up selling for a pretty decent amount of cash in $1,582.88. We've seen these sell for a lot more money, especially in that perfect proof 70 grade that does tend to show up with the missing S mint mark. Believe it or not, that was only Jefferson nickel. We do have a couple Buffaloes. How about the 37D you see here? Really nice, pleasing, out of album toned coin. Now, granted, it's not the 3 legs Buffalo that we all love for this date, but, one that grades out at a 67 plus, CAC certified, I'll take this as an alternative all day long. So, let's say, theoretically, you're looking for 3-legged Buffaloes, but at the same time, you find that dealer that has a few of these raw Buffalo nickels or maybe in an album, and you were just a little bit curious because they're so nice looking but yet have color on them. I'm telling you, this might be as better as a three-legged buffalo. And in this case, it is. This particular one sold for $1,045.50, which effectively puts it at a much higher price cap above and beyond a three-legged Buffalo 37D in about XF45, which typically goes in this market for right around $900 to $950. So this one surpassing that, but we just have like a really pretty coin, in spite of the fact that it is a more common date. But there's other factors that are kind of participating here to make this one much more than some of those others. We also have this 1919, a beautiful Philly minted example here, coming in at a mid-state 66, CAC certified, a good, decent Buffalo with luster and just overall cleanliness to it. You gotta love that. 66 is such a great grade, and usually is kind of like where the rubber meets the road in terms of, a coin that's just maybe average. For a lot of bigger time collectors to one that over exceeds that by a huge margin, and that's what this one is here. So this one ended up selling for $1,247.46. Great looking coin there. And we also have this it's 1917, and it's actually a variety as well. I actually put up the wrong slab label. That's for the 37D. However, this particular one, you don't know, is actually a variety. This is the doubled die reverse FS802. The doubling is most notable on E pluribus unum, on United States of America, and a little bit on 5 cents, especially the last few letters on 5 cents is where you're going to see the doubling and the notching for this one. Now, this particular one came out as a mid-state 63 by PCGS. So if it was a 67 plus like the 37D, I mean, this thing would be a fortune. But a mid-state 63, still not too bad. The variety is really what pushes the value on this sold item, which, by the way, ended up being $1,237.50. So in a non-variety 63, that's generally about a $100 coin, give or take. So the variety does matter here in this particular case. We also have this one. The only lone singular CAC-G graded coin is the 39D in mid-state 68 full bands. And guess what? Toning ultimately won the day on this coin. That was the huge contributor to the value of this coin. Now, don't get me wrong. CAC-G, they're not going to just hand out high grades. So they are a little bit more conservative with the grading here compared to maybe a PCGS or NGC. But it's a 68 full bands. It's such a high graded specimen that we have to give it its flowers, not only for the toning, but the actual numerical grade. And whether the toning actually contributed to that higher grade, it could be a possibility, but at the same time, maybe not totally necessary. This one right here is sold for $1,040.62. Really good sale there. We have a couple tough ones here. 1931 Mercury is kind of like a semi-key. Mid-state 66 plus full bands with CAC certification is all good on this one. And believe it or not, this is a much tougher date than it looks. It's not 1920s or 1921 tough, but 1931 is a little bit tougher date compared to anything else beyond this. So this one right here ended up selling for $2,306.25, and then we also have its Denver stablemate here. This one in is 67, but no full bands, and that's really the only difference maker. CAC certified as well. This one showing more bright white luster. This one is just overall a very clean specimen, and I'd like to say this one ended up selling for $1,417.50. So another beautiful example there for the Denver. All right, we got a few quarters. How about the rarest Type E reverse date, FS901, 1956 Washington quarter in 66 plus, CAC certified. Great looking piece here. Of course, this is that those examples that were struck with proof reverse dies. So you have much stronger design details on the reverse. The actual leaf on top of the A and dollar, they're touching as intended for the Type B reverse. So this one right here, ladies and gents, sold for $1,186.88. Not the highest known grade of this coin, which kept it a little bit low. Again, that's just the power of the population. When there are coins that grade up much higher than this, then that's ultimately going to have like a trickle down effect to all of the lower graded specimens as well. We also have this beautiful, just regular kind of 1944. Outside of the fact that it's an NGC Mid-State 68, this one is just pure, straight up, like a scoopful of vanilla. That's what this one is. It's no frills. It's got a little bit of kind of like a skin on there. You could call it toning. I call it just really originality that helps prove that this one was never dipped at any given time. So this one right here ended up selling for $2,307.38. A nice, beautiful, high-end blast white coin. And 52D with a little crustiness here. This one was probably sitting in an album, an old Wait Raymond or early Dansko type, or maybe even a Whitman. This one coming out a very high registry set worthy grade in a Mid-State 67 plus. CAC certified as well, and a price tag of $3,151.12 added in there. All right, I'm not going to lie. Toning really promoted and pushed this one into the stratosphere. A 1950S, graded by NGC with some wild stats, a Mid-State 68 plus star. The star, in a way, is denotes the eye appeal on this one. And if you're a big toning fanatic or color artistic kind of person like I am, then you'll appreciate this one. So this one has everything. And with everything, you get the maximized price. This one hammered this weekend for $8,156.25. Very impressive total. 1924S, Standing Liberty Quarter. How about this tough date right here? In a Mid-State 66 plus. No chance this one would be full head. The side of Lady Liberty's head is flat as can be, with no discernible ear hole or anything of that sort. So 66 plus was the stats on this one. CAC certified as well. Very, very, very nice coin at $3,712.50. And the final coin for the Monday Market Report week is going to be this beautiful, very colorful 1964 Kennedy. And finally, we have a $50 to talk about that's not an SMS coin. Here it is. NGC assigned a grade of Mid-State 67 plus. But at the end of the day, we all know why this coin is here, right? We've seen some of those 40% dates, the 66s, 67s, 68, 69. You could name any one of the business strike dates during this time frame when there was a transition between silver and clad, which is like 5 years, and anything with color will ultimately grab the attention and spotlight from everybody. A lot of people who are into the toning arena and the investability of these coins are going to pay attention to candy half dollars because of a few factors. We're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, the final iteration of this design where we're going to see a new, updated, kind of design in 2027. 2026 for the semi-quincentennial, they're redesigning it for a one-time shot with Lady Liberty, Statue of Liberty on there, with the torch on the reverse. Those are the preliminary kind of design works that were going to be used for the 2026 half dollar. So again, we're seeing kind of like the last final hurrah here. Even though 64 was the first date of this particular coin, 2025 signals the end. So that kind of like brings more interest into candy half dollars, more than we've ever seen. And this one right here ended up selling, because of the toning, for $1,944. A very, very nice example as well. Well, that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. Again, the info provided in this video is strictly educational, not financial advice. Please collect and or grade your coins responsibly. And I'm your host, Sean. Thank you again for tuning in on this edition of the Monday Market Report. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And again, come check us out on some of the other social medias. Come check us out on Whatnot. We have those links, again, posted all over the place in this video. We hope to see you soon. Best of luck in your collecting, and have a good day.